Hey everybody, welcome back. We've been gone for a hot minute, but we're here. As always, you love them, you miss them, Ramon,
Hey, what's up, guys?
and Ro, the lovable Ro.
Howdy, howdy.
Today we're here to talk about Rick and Morty, and there's actually a reason why we're gonna talk about this. It's kind of has to be it's kind of the reason why we've been gone for these past couple of weeks. But Ramon, why don't you tell the people what we've been up to, or what we were up to a couple of weeks back?
So this past weekend, Carlos and I took the nice venture of going on a 3-day trip to C2E2, which is Chicago Comics Entertainment Expo in Chicago. So yeah, it was 3 whole days of all kinds of butt cheeks, like cosplay butt cheeks, like animated butt cheeks. No, but yeah, we went to the convention. First day was all about this kind of talking to fans or talking to people and us being fanboys, and I don't know. Second day was exploration, spending money, and I don't know. We were just having a good time. Go check our Instagram. You'll see all the pictures.
I mean, not all of them. I had way too many, and I could only choose 10. So I chose, what I thought was some of the best ones. Um, but yeah, no, man. I mean, Friday was really fun. We got to get really up close to some of the Power Rangers, some of the voice actors with X-Men '97, some of the Naruto voice actors. So that was really nice. But we did something very special, me and you, on Saturday, sort of accidentally too, Ramon, and and that's the big reason why we're here to talk about Rick and Morty.
No, we have to call it an accident, otherwise it's awkward. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah.
so on Saturday, Carlos got to the convention, and we just started following the line, right? And this line led to a panel. We didn't know what panel. It was actually for Star Wars Rebels. So we got to see some like iconic '90s and 2000s heartthrobs like Freddie Prinze Jr. But anyways, long story. That panel was over. Me and Carlos were like being suckers. So I'm like, let's leave this joint. And as we're walking out, like security guy tells us like, you could just stay in there. And we're like, wait, what's next? Rick and Morty. The cast of Rick and Morty was what was next. And so Carlos and I just freaking ran back inside, sat in the third row, and got to witness actually the original Summers, the original Jerry, and then the new cast for Rick and Morty. And honestly, probably one of my favorite experiences from the whole convention. So good little
Yeah,
incident.
no, it was totally awesome, and just to be like again 3 rows from where they were at, being able to see him so up close, getting to actually like obviously Jerry, he's kind of like the most famous, and it's because we've seen him. We just talked about him in Fallout, so it was really nice to just I don't know, man, his vibe was just totally awesome, and it was really exciting. I just I learned a lot about the actress that plays Summer. Obviously, she told us some stories, including how she got into this knife incident in 2020, and she lost a lot of her motion skills, like motor skills, with her, I think, left hand or right hand. I actually looked up that story, Ramon. I don't know if you ever did, and how that happened.
No, I knew you would. So story time, Carlos. Story time.
Oh, well, I mean, it just so happens that I guess she was being a good person, and she saw this couple arguing, and she confronted the guy and being like, hey, she's trying to like de-escalate the situation. And I guess the guy must have had a knife with him, and next thing you know, he's like stabbed her, or like,
What?
yeah, and it was crazy. And like, honestly, God, what made the story a lot crazier is that I don't think they caught the guy. So I'm not even sure. I didn't go that deep looking into it, but I don't know. It made it sound like the story like they didn't even catch the guy, because even the actress was sort of saying like, yeah, I don't know if they'll ever catch him.
Yeah, no, props to Spencer Grammer. Again, Voice of Summer. But yeah, she was pretty awesome. Like, she was probably one of my favorite people to see in person for that reason, because who you hear on Rick and Morty as Summer, that's her. Like, kind of that California, like, little voice, and obviously, exaggerated. But I don't know, just really down to earth. And yeah, when she told that story about getting stabbed, everybody just kind of laughed. And I mean, maybe because some of us didn't know and some people did, but it
Yeah.
just made her so much more badass. And if you don't like Summer and Rick and Morty, then she'll probably just
Yeah.
punch you or
And
something, because she's like that
and
type of fun
yeah,
person.
Rowan, she was like very beautiful. She was a very beautiful woman,
Oh.
and her dad's actually Kelsey Grammer, which we didn't know that. So that was like freaking crazy to like realize that as we were talking, we were hearing her talk. Yeah,
Oh.
See what you
and
missed on, Raul.
And then for like the voice of Rick and Morty, they were actually the new cast because obviously they got recasted, and we won't get into
Yeah.
those reasons in this recording, but that was really
Shame,
nice. So
shame.
they were really cool guys, so like really enjoyed them.
Yeah,
And
and I mean,
the one guy did look like Morty in a kind of weird way, like a grown up Morty, adult Morty.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, obviously without spending too much time on the whole idea with the panel, like, I mean, reason why it was so cool is because, like, you heard a lot about this, right? I mentioned how Summer's voice is, like, almost, like, exactly, I mean, yeah, Spencer's voice is actually Summer's voice pretty close, and then Chris Parnell, who plays Jerry, sounds just is basically Jerry. And it's just, like, hearing them when the audience was asking questions about, like, the effort and kind of what it takes to really like be this character. And it's funny because both Summer and Jerry were like, it's acting. But I'm like, part of it was just because you're using your regular voice is great. But then Rick and Morty was so like admirable because here's two dudes. So like obviously who sounds like Rick and Morty in real life? But these guys, oh my God, they like mastered the voices and they're freaking funny in real life, like Carlos said. And I don't know, like that was definitely an experience, especially again, like listening to freaking Jerry talk in real life. I can never shake Jerry. Like when I watched him in Fallout, Chris Parnell was still Jerry to me. And I don't know. I think it was such a great experience to be sitting in front of them and listen to such a down-to-earth group of people, especially about a show that's so fucking crazy.
No, so I think next year when we go again, we're definitely going to be more in tune with the panels because now we know. That the first thing you do is just rush to the panels and hope that you get to see. Because I think the next one row was Hannibal cast, like the panel, and the two main actors were there. But by then, me and Ramon kind of had tapped out. We were like, all right, we need to kind of start going around and talking to people and just having fun because we had a blast.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but yeah, no, I mean we've been gone, for I want to say 3 weeks, Rose. So obviously, we've communicated, but I really haven't followed up with you on, hey, what you've been doing, what have you been watching. We haven't really discussed anything. But what have you been doing, Ro? What have you been doing this past 3 weeks, man? Tell us.
Nothing. Just being Morty. No, I'm kidding. No. I've watched 3 seasons of Rick and Morty because I had previously seen one, and we'll get into that at some point. But I've been watching a lot. I read all of the Solo Leveling manhwa.
Oh, nice.
And I love the whole thing. It's sad. I won't say sadly, but it jumped up there in my rankings of favorite animes, probably. Because I have a feeling that the anime is going to be better than the manhwa.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's a good manhwa too. I don't know. I've been watching everything. Kaiju number 8. I've been watching a lot of stuff.
Same.
Oh, I started listening to that podcast that you mentioned about that one lady.
Get played.
Hey, no plugging other podcasts here. No, I'm just kidding.
They're great. They're great. I really do adore those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So I listened to all the Solo Leveling stuff, but I continue to listen.
Isn't it great when Ash Ketchum shows up?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, me and Ramon, you're kind of like the Kaiju number 8. Like for a show that I was enjoying, and I didn't want to be like Ramon, get on it, because sometimes like I try to be careful on what I push you to watch. But you're like the hype man for Kaiju number 8. So I'm like so happy that you are loving it and you're cheering for it.
I mean, it doesn't come with any like negative things. I feel like the little bit of criticism I've been seeing online, it's about like the animation, like with the characters could be better, but just the people, like and just they could be a little bit more
character design.
Yeah, like the cell shading, like stuff like that, which again to me is kind of like nonsensical when the anime has so much going for it. And I'm still a big advocate for like it just has a great like soundtrack all throughout. Like it's goofy. It's supposed to be goofy. Yeah, that intro. See, you finally know.
I heard the end credit songs by Imagine Dragons, so I gotta like rehear it again.
It might be.
And the intros by Youngblood, so they got some big people to do it. But it's just like I said, music throughout the actual episode is pretty good. And again, it kind of loosens up the vibe of it. And like I told you, it's just the whole reapproach of like, here we are, like a loser who's gonna become a hero. But the only difference from this one to other anime, it's this dude's 32 years old. So I feel like it's so much more relatable to at least most average people that are not teenagers anymore. So
we're definitely
millennials.
We're definitely gonna talk about. We're definitely gonna talk about that show once it wraps up because I imagine it has to be like 12 episodes. And then the last episode was really good. Now that they introduced other kaiju's that are like the same situation as him, so like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of like really interested in that.
Kaiju number 7 and 6. I'm kidding. I don't know if it's
No. I mean, any other stuff you want to plug? I think you've been, something that me and you were watched was Baby Reindeer. If you want to talk about that, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Baby Reindeer is really good. Live action's not anime, it's not animated as we're talking about Rick and Morty. No, but Baby Deer. Baby Reindeer was actually a show that kind of caught me by surprise though, because I'd seen that it was a little bit like it was based on a true story, and the actual person who this stalking happens is the actual main actor of the show. And even just to kind of like watch the show and understand like the dynamic of himself playing himself in this like somewhat traumatic experience, it's crazy. So if you're gonna watch it for anything, watch it for that, because from episode to episode, like the story just becomes way more crazy than you think it would be. It's not about a simple stalker, and I don't know. It was a good shock. It was like a palate cleanser from a lot of stuff that I've been watching lately. Like it's actually good, intriguing, and different.
So actually, today, I found out that the girl that the Mandy or the stalker character is supposed to be depicting, she came forward and she did an interview with Pierce Morgan.
Oh, okay. Need to check that out.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the interview's come out yet, but
yeah, I feel like that show succeeds because of word of mouth, and that's where I think sometimes Netflix lets you down. They don't really promote, or you don't really know what's good, what's not. But word of mouth definitely helped that show, and I think I finished it in maybe 2-3 days. It's because some of them were like 30 minutes, and some of them were like 40 minutes. And it just felt like they went on pretty quick. But man, episode 4, man, that's the one that still sort of stays with me. If you haven't seen the show.
You have to remind me a little bit, but yeah, other than that, pretty much, again, Kaiju number 8, having a baby in September. Oh, and I finished Blue Lock. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Blue Lock's freaking awesome. I mean, that one, I don't know if I'll be able to like talk to you about.
What's up, Raul?
We're going to talk about later, but yeah, hold it after the show. But for me, I'm gonna like just rush through everything I've been watching, because there's just for somebody that does so many things, like somehow I find the time to sneak in all the shows. But the one I want to plug really quick is Knuckles on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty funny for a franchise that should have failed with the first movie. Knuckles totally like blows it out of expectation wise, like.
And I just saw that too.
Yeah, the CGI doesn't ever get like to the point where you're like, oh, what am I watching? This is not something made for TV. But no, it's just like continuously funny.
No She-Hulk.
And they get so creative with like, obviously you don't get Knuckles all the time, but I think it's just the character you're following. He's so funny and worth it. So Knuckles definitely something that I've been checking out.
And it's Idris Elba actually voicing it too.
Yeah, Idris Elba is freaking awesome. But again, I think Sonic's becoming one of like those franchises that I really love.
I think that's the funnier part, because I forgot after you told me, I did start checking it out, and I forgot to text you how like incredibly random it was, but it made it so good. But I think on top of it all, that it's freaking Idris Elba like freaking voicing it, and then no matter what and how like silly at times it gets, it's like freaking hilarious, because you're like, fuck yeah, Idris Elba, let's go.
Yeah. And then. What?
Shogun. Can't forget Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun. I mean, that one, I think we even talked about it on our last episode, possibly. We talked about it in the recording. But just, My Hero Academia came back, and that one came back with a bang, so it's freaking cool if you're not watching it. Yeah. And then Ramon, there was a ninja show that you recommended on Max, HBO Max, that it's all right. But yeah, but I stuck with it, and it's just, I don't hate it. Yeah, but, it's...
action sequences are awesome, though.
Yeah, the action sequences are awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure there's plenty more things that I watch, and I'm not gonna hold up the podcast anymore, because, we're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about a show that I felt, it's almost impossible to talk about, because you don't know where to start, where to end it. So we're just gonna be all over the place with this.
Ramon, let's start in the middle.
Ramon, you're probably the biggest Rick and Morty fan from us. And I don't know why I say that because I love Rick and Morty a lot, but I feel like at least you're always making an attempt to like watch them as they're airing. Where me, I'll just wait like a year till they're streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I probably spent like at least $40 on the last couple seasons because I couldn't wait. I mean, and part of the problem is my wife loves Rick and Morty too, so it's like the last couple seasons I was really I didn't even have to stress to be like, hey, should we buy this? She was like, done, I already bought it, and then we buy the seasons and always keep up. I think this was the first season that I didn't buy like right away, just because with the recast of Rick and Morty, not that it didn't give like, kind of scared me away because of Solar Opposites, which is another show that's kind of like parallel to this one. When they recasted the voice of I'm totally spacing out right now, but I'll get back to that. But Corvo, I hate it. I didn't hate the voice. I just hated that it didn't feel the same. So, anyways, Rick and Morty. Long story short, I hesitated on this season, but then by the time the new season was available on Hulu, like, oh my goodness, like it just reinstilled my whole like belief in this show as being like one of the best shows ever. Like it's such a orchestra of a show. Like it just puts everything together, jumbles it up and spits it out for you little pieces, brings it back. And I don't know, I love the show. Like I'd say like definitely a huge fan of the show. I have a terrible memory, so like it just sucks that I can't keep things linear or a character sometimes like very well. But I think this is a show that makes you like kind of throw that out the window, be like, you know what, I don't even care, I'll just watch them out of order and I'll just remember vaguely what happened in this one episode, because everything's so crazy. Like it's impossible to remember every detail unless you don't have a job and just watching it nonstop. So but yes, I love the show.
Thankfully I remember everything.
We're gonna
what? That's a lie. Sorry, that's a lie.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have spoilers for you, bro, because you've only seen like the last 4 seasons where we mentioned there's 7 of them now. But yeah, I was watching the latest season, man, and it's just truly the last episode with the host, like a masterful episode. The spaghetti one, the one where they finally solved the whole Prime Rick. That it's incredible, especially how they did it in the middle of the season. Yeah, Prime Rick. Yeah, they got him. They got the son of a bitch. But yeah, there's a lot happening in Rick and Morty, and I just love the writing on it, man. Anytime that they're just kind of like getting in each other's face, Rick and Morty, it's always brings me joy. And obviously, some of the cast has grown on me where I do get a little bit sad if we don't get enough Jerry in an episode, or we don't get an adventure that Summer doesn't tag on, because to me, like, Summer's part of the cast now, like part of the group. So it's like, why can't Summer be in more episodes?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm really excited to hear from Raul because, like, even just kind of in solidarity with him, I restarted it. And I did also manage to get through 3 seasons before I started skipping to some of the better episodes. And, like, let me tell you, the reason why I love this show, it's like, if you start with the first season and you think the show is going to be about like, a grandson and a grandfather who have like space adventures, like you're wrong, because after the first season, it becomes ridiculous. And I just remember watching the first season and it started mild. I mean, still ridiculous, right? But it was a little mild in some areas. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, when you're just kind of like breaking like this weird, like multi-dimensional / anything can happen barrier, I think the next seasons and as they progress to like the most current season 7, it just becomes so ridiculous. Like the type of stuff they're doing now, there's no way that I would have foreseen that in season 1. And I think that's what's really fun to rewatch it, to be like, wait, what? Like, how did we end up in season 7 with like everything that's going on? Like, it just, I don't know. But
I think what I love too, it's so meta to call out other things or other ideas that they're copying, or other, like, Raul, you probably didn't get to it, but there's an episode that's like focuses purely on the whole Die Hard, the movie.
I'm not having.
and how Summer is doing a Die Hard, but she's never seen Die Hard. So it's just hilarious. These ideas that they pull, because again, they can just be in their own world, but they do a good job of being like almost like a South Park. They know what's happening with current events, so they'll be quick to like point out what's actually happening or what movies came out. So I just kind of love that aspect about it.
Yeah, and I will say, so with the show, like, people have been telling me for years to watch it because they're like, "Oh, it's totally your thing. You're gonna love it." Blah blah. And in a way, it kind of made me not want to watch it. Just for like not just for that reason, but like, I don't know. It just, I got it, but like I didn't get it, I guess. So I started watching it. First season was fine, and then like I stopped watching because I only watched it because of you guys. And then you guys said, "Oh, we're gonna do an episode on Rick and Morty." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll for real watch it." The second season is so good. It's so much better than the first. And then I was kind of hooked after that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode just from what you've seen so far?
There's, in a way, kind of some of the more sentimental or emotional ones, or like some of the deeper ones.
Okay.
Like the story one was really cool, and then the toilet one with his only friend
Oh,
that wasn't really his
Oh,
friend. That
yeah.
one was like, dude, that is so sad. But it's like it's Rick and Morty type of sad. I don't know, and or the episode when he gave himself up for the authorities because like his family, so say
oh,
his family could go back home, like stuff like that. It was like where it's uncharacteristic, but then I also like those random ones where it's like meant to be kind of just like a filler, but like it's still not really a filler.
Yeah.
Where they're doing the interdimensional cable, or
oh yeah,
or
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing interdimensional cable, but then they're doing all the random shit.
The one you mentioned where he gives himself up to save the family. What I love about that one is if you're able to watch the next follow up immediately instead of waiting like a whole year or 2 years that people waited for it. It's so funny, this idea that like that instantly gets resolved with him breaking the currency of the aliens.
Yeah.
He made it from like 1 to 0, and
It's part of his plan. Yeah,
it's so
it's like
dumb.
crypto.
Yeah, I mean that's what when you mentioned the story one. Was that the one about the train? The
Yeah,
train. Okay,
Yeah, the
okay.
train
I
one.
wanted to make sure it was about that one. Which
yeah,
that
because
one
it was kind of because it was kind of like pointless, but like it was so well done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like and you had like what's his name, Giamatti
Storytelling.
do the voice of the storyteller guy, and so you have like some big cameos, and then you have this weird meta thing where he like bounces back into this weird reality and then bounces back into the train, and dude, it was so well done.
Is that the one where Jesus saves them also? Like they
Yeah,
start
they
praying to Jesus.
well, they end up like fist fighting the freaking
He doesn't save
conductor.
them, but yeah, the greatest story ever told.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely what like does it with this show, like sets it apart because like Carlos, like one thing, like the amounts of references that go into the show and then therefore like very regurgitated out when I'm like, hey, that's from Rick and Morty, and then but it's actually from something else. It's hilarious. Like reminds me of the Fortnite, like, oh, the guy from Fortnite meme. Like I don't know, like there was like the Inception episode too when they're kind of basically going into the teacher's Morty's teacher's head into
Freddy
his
Krueger
dreams.
thing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
ends up with Freddy Krueger and like that whole thing. And yeah, like I think that's what it is. This is that it's really well written, and they're just like some of the episodes have like layer upon layer to them. But
It's super complex, super,
super
thorough,
complex.
super deep. Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point though, was that go ahead, Carlos?
No, I was just gonna say like even the side characters that they introduce, like some of them become just like fan favorites because
Birdman.
Birdman or the Mr. Meeseeks, is that what they're
Oh.
called?
Oh yeah,
Like that-
Mr.
yeah.
Meeseeks.
like this idea that if they can't complete their task, they just go crazy, and that's freaking hilarious. But yeah, like even them, like Roman, I think I still have a Mr. Meeseeks that you bought me maybe for like a Christmas gift or something, but I still see it like every time I'm doing some spring cleaning, it always comes up.
If only it worked for real. Maybe it
Oh
hasn't
my
granted
God.
your wish, so
Well, it
it's like
depends what
I
you-
can't leave. Yeah.
I don't know
I mean-
what I would ask it for help.
No, that's the funny part because I just rewatched the Death Crystal Morty one. I don't know if you got to that one, Raul, where like
Oh,
Morty.
yeah.
Yeah. See, so
Dude.
what I was gonna say is some of my favorite episodes are ones that are very grounded on their main characters. I mean, and I call main because obviously everybody's main characters, but the
Yeah.
show's Rick and Morty. And if you think about it, the show's like a lot about like Rick's like interior story and
Mhm.
everything kind of revolves around that. But like besides Pickle Rick episode that I love, and that's probably one of my favorites, that Death Crystal one is also amazing because especially that part where and obviously he's following the crystal around because he wants to like die in Jessica's arms. But then when he meets
my
that
God.
when instead of going to the strip club, he turns around and he opens the door for that one girl, and then they're
I
like
know.
they fall for each other. They're like basically like they don't know if either they get engaged or they're gonna go on a trip, and then they're flying over like the snowy mountains somewhere. The freaking plane falls down, like falls apart, and then because like the remote, like the clicker to make him like go back to his saved past like checkpoint is so far away that they basically live out for days in the snowy fields. Like they basically end up cannibalizing some other people like passengers, and then ultimately because he doesn't want to lose the girl, he freaking walks back for the cell phone, ends up with the clicker, he gets rescued. Then after he gets rescued, fucking Jerry presses the reset button.
Well, I was gonna
He
say
thinks it's a TV remote and then resets him back.
because I was saying that's not the crystal episodes. That's the bath of acid, whatever.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that episode, I think that's
you're right.
to me like
Yeah.
I don't have a rank of what my top 10 episodes are, but that episode, Ramon, because of the bath of acid, it has to be like one of my top 5. This whole idea of like because
It's Batman, but not Batman.
Yeah,
but that's the whole thing. Like Rick does this thing because of how like Morty calls him out. Like, why can't you just admit that this was fucking stupid and it doesn't work? And then obviously at the end, it's like you get the whole reveal. Like,
but yeah, you're right. But like, and what was funny about that too is just like the whole idea of how that clicker worked. Because ultimately he was just basically killing all the other Mortys and all these existences, and that was like nuts. But no. So the Death Crystal one, that was the one that he went Akira mode, where he kind of started like building up all this power, and then ultimately going down and rampaging all of it. But even that one was just like really crazy because like that whole idea that like obviously he has like the one person he loves throughout the show, and I don't know
things like that about Morty. Like those episodes are very like meaningful. Like we talked about the one where he plays the arcade game and he gets to like live his whole like life to the point where he dies, and it's like finally after years and years he dies like at 68 or something, and they're like he gets out of the game crying in tears. They're like, you made it to 68. Yeah, the BR one. But it's great, man. I do love when they hit the emotional notes just right, because they do hit you, man. They do hit you. Even there's times where like you feel sorry for Rick, like where he's about to like kill himself but doesn't kill himself. Unity. Yep, that's exactly. Which Unity comes back, bro. If if it gives you if you need a reason to go through 3 more seasons, because we do get a Unity episode.
I'm gonna finish it. I'm just gonna pace myself a little bit more because I still gotta finish One Piece too. I'm in the home stretch.
Rick and Morty is an easy watch, and it's like I think it does pay off to watch it. Like if you can binge it like in close proximity, it pays off so much because like obviously we know that not necessarily every episode is like, not like saying not canon, but like saying like some they're the adventures or the side quests, but like in general like everything flows so well. And I don't know, like the more and the quicker you resolve some of these like big things in the show, like they just the payoff. Like Carlos mentioned earlier with freaking Rick Prime in like this last season, that was like an amazing freaking episode. And especially knowing like the struggle that Rick has been going through, like this whole like series, it's just crazy. Like the more and more you find out about his past, the more like freaking bad you feel for him.
Do you know what's kind of surprised me?
What?
Jerry grows on you.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect Jerry to grow on me. I thought he was just gonna be Jerry or whatever, but he grew on me. Like even during the separation or whatever, like you feel bad for Jerry.
Oh yeah. You're gonna like him way more later too. I feel like he just gets so chill, and his new relationship dynamic becomes so different. That's like you're gonna be like, my man, Jerry, my man.
Like the whole the idea that they have a daycare in case they need to like put him
for
in
Jerry's.
And then I think it comes back, this idea that they might have not gotten the right Jerry.
Well, I was gonna ask Raul how he's felt about that so far. Like the whole idea that like the Rick that we're following is not even like the main Rick, but it's like our main Rick. But then the Morty is not his Morty.
It's Prime Morty.
It's Prime Morty. And then so like you think about like the family then, and it's just like I don't know, especially with Jerry, because like that original Jerry is still living. So it's
and they're also they're not even in the original Earth either.
Huh?
Yeah, where Raul's at. Like he's still
where Raul's at. Yeah.
No, Raul, something that makes me excited for every new season is that, the theme song doesn't change, but some
Mhm.
of the stuff they show you does change.
Mhm.
And it's a 50-50 chance of which one of those things that they show you is going to become an actual episode this season, and some of
Yeah.
them just do not become episodes. Is there anyone where you're like either disappointed that never became an episode, or are you happy that maybe one of them made you excited and it did become an episode, and then you got to actually see what did occur with the storyline?
Oh, so honestly, I always skip the intro, and,
I
Oh
and
knew he
then
my
was gonna say.
God,
I knew
Raul.
he was
and
gonna
then
say.
and then
Why?
there was sometimes I didn't,
Yeah.
and then I saw like, oh, that and then I noticed, oh, it's kind of what's happening in the season, but I was like, I don't want spoilers, so then
No,
I kept
some of
not
them don't
watching it.
happen, and that's what pisses you off. Like you get
Like,
some really
Oh,
cool glimpses of things that you wish would have happened, and then you don't,
yeah.
and you're
like,
disappointed.
was the monster's name the Kahulu or Kahu? I
Yeah,
can't
we
even
never,
Oh
no,
pronounce
it's
yeah,
it.
not.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
never,
that's not.
ever,
Oh no,
ever
really?
did it.
No.
Dude,
Ever,
I was
ever,
looking
ever
forward to
did it.
that one because that's what I did
Never happens.
I
see.
don't know if
The,
they ever will, man, but it's like,
the
yeah, it's
Lovecraftian
Yeah, yeah,
beast.
yeah.
um, the only time that I've ever been disappointed is that they did Voltron, like
Oh
you
goodness,
you
yeah.
got
Oh yeah,
you got glimpses of like the Voltron, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I wonder. And then they did the episode, and I think to me to this day has been like the worst episode for me because of how hype I was for it, and then the episode itself didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. It disappointed me like completely. So like that's still the one that I to this day I kind of like
Is that
hate.
the Glorp or whatever?
I don't even know what's going on.
The
Something about mobs, and it was just so dumb.
it's the one with the Starro spinoff, isn't it?
Nah, I don't
Parody
know. It's like I just
with the
know that
moth
there's
thing.
like that they have a Voltron and they're saving the planet's universe, and they're kind of become like mobsters. I don't know. It's just again, not I the quicker I get it out of my head and not remember any details about it, the better. Yeah,
What's one of the most fucked up episodes or most fucked up things that you've seen so far in an episode, Raul?
like truly
There's a
shocking.
lot. That death crystal thing was pretty messed up
Yeah,
because he didn't tell him that like every time that he reset, he didn't really like
I,
he just took over like a possibility and it was killing the other Morty.
Oh, Vat
That
of
he
Acid
stole the
again.
possibility.
Vat of Acid again. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's like that's an easy one to switch, but that's a Vat of Acid one, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know why I did it too. It's just
See, I did it because you did it.
they're really close in proximity. It's only I think like
Yeah.
less than a season away, so I don't know.
I always
No, it's
like
all the same season.
Yeah. I
Oh,
always
okay.
like that Morty's
Oh, yeah.
innocence always gets them like into trouble because, and Rick always tells him like, we shouldn't do this or don't worry about it, but it's always his innocence. It's like I'm doing something good, and that ends up being something like evil that he's doing, like with the gas, the little ball of gas, like
Fart.
him. The fart of gas, like I still love that episode. Like I don't really do a lot of activities that would get me to really enjoy that episode, but I think that episode with the music and the colors, it's just to me, I love that episode. I love the whole
Yeah.
singing to it.
I think
Yeah.
everything I'm wearing and the blanket behind it's all like
Yes,
weird
yeah.
a bit. No, I mean, like I think that's a cool thing too with like Morty. It's like if you think about it, he's kind of a deviant. Like the whole time he is kind of like a little perv. Like I mean, he's a teenager, and I think that's what it is. Like makes him so
Yeah.
good. It's like a teen going through puberty because like I mean, one of the first episodes you see where you really see how weird he is with the freaking sex robot, and he ends up with like his
Oh,
little
yeah, the
baby with the
kid.
hands.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even just the idea that it's like you're.
I
I think
forgot
that was
about that.
maybe that was like the first episode where you really see like Morty be like, hey, grandpa, like can I get something? Like can I please get something? And he's just ends up, and obviously once Rick realizes what it is, he just buys him the freaking sex doll, and then that whole thing was just hilarious. Like I don't know, but yeah, later throughout, he's just especially some of the stuff that revolves around Jessica, you're like the extremes that he will go to get some things done or situated, or the amounts of touching himself that he does and random stuff is hilarious. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
this kind of should make you feel weird, but I don't know. It's a
Oh, yeah,
show. It's
and-
animated.
Yeah, and to talk about an actual Death Crystal episode, the funny thing about it is he's chasing this one like death of his because he
Yeah.
thinks he's gonna die like
In her
with
arms.
Jessica, and then at the end of it, he finds like she says something about like how she wants to be a hospice nurse,
Oh
and
yeah.
then at the end of it, I want to be like I love you or something, and that's exactly what he had been saying.
Yes. And the worst part too is like she eventually, like, I mean, like a little before the end of it, she's like, "Yeah, me and my friends are gonna go skinny dipping like right now. Do you want to join us?" And he's like, "No, no, must follow the Death Crystal." And he just kind of like continues, and I'm like, "Wow, Morty, wow."
Dude, one of my favorite characters that he's this close to maybe getting a little bit tiring, but the president of the United States. Like,
Oh my
I
goodness.
love that rivalry that he has with Rick, and it's just like it always cracks me up, and I always like I don't know, I appreciate it. I remember the first time when they had that big fight that I think goes on like for like 5-10 minutes, sort of like the Family Guy, Peter versus the chicken. Like, this is awesome because you don't really expect the president to be able to put up a fight, but yeah, it's just it's really cool.
Oh, dude. All over
a selfie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Morty.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the butthole poopy pants or whatever his name is,
Mr.
Poopy Pants.
Yeah.
Butthole Poopy Pants.
Yeah, because he randomly showed up in the episode with the parasite that makes you
parasites.
Like, that makes you hallucinate that there's other people there that with memories and everything. Oh, that one I feel bad for Jerry and the other guy. I forgot his name. but
yeah, the Lincoln robot or whatever.
Oh, Adolf.
Oh yeah.
That was some tremendous thing, especially because he's like, I just don't know what you want from me. Like, no one knows how to feel about him. Like, what?
Yeah.
Such a contradiction.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, again, my episode is still like, or one of my favorite episodes still like Pickle Rick. Rewatched that one recently too, and I two reasons why it's like my favorite. One, I think it's one of the first episodes where you really see like Rick break down a little bit more. Because again, to this point, he's just doing random ass stuff with Morty, and we're kind of uncovering a little bit more about their whole thing. But I think in that episode, it's like he's clearly avoiding going to the freaking family therapy. And so just the whole idea of like, hey Morty, wants to do something cool, and then he just turns himself into a fucking pickle. And then this whole monologue that he does in the beginning about like, duh, this is like a fucking challenge. Like, why, I wouldn't make myself a pickle because the whole, like, how he's trying to sell it to the family, and just the whole thing that goes on, not necessarily just with him when he becomes like walking and all this stuff and how against that, because I will talk about it, but like just the whole thing that's going on in the whole therapist session, like the whole therapy session.
Yeah.
And they're having this breakthrough, and you're finally being like, man, this family is really fucking fucked up. And in season 1, it's a lot of it because of like Rick. Like, it's all about blaming Rick. Like, Jerry is always trying to blame Rick for being a bad influence on Morty, and obviously Summer eventually, but like so far it's just like a lot of Morty, and Beth, and then you kind of see this dynamic that later changes completely. But and then of course you have Rick mastering how to be a pickle, man, going from the cockroach. Like, I couldn't even believe how he was gonna get out of that situation, but through the whole falling on the ground, like being pushed by the little wind, by going down the sewer, by getting down roaches, and then eventually he fights the freaking rats, and then the rat king. Whew, that's actually one of my little favorite figures right here, my little Pickle Rick.
Well, that family therapist also kind of becomes a staple of the show, and she's great. I mean, she calls him out on his bullshit, which is kind of nice. Yeah, he understands it.
Yeah, it becomes like an adversary for him, but I don't know. I just think it's funny because just that whole show was just great.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, I think we're getting definitely more seasons, and after a while, everything that you love in the beginning does eventually become tiresome. Like, so I don't know if this ever will become to the point where like, okay, we've enjoyed it for the past 20 years. Maybe this is time for me to let it go. And the example that I'm going to use is like Family Guy or The Simpsons. Those are shows that I freaking love. Family Guy. I could even watch an episode of the newest season today and enjoy it. I just don't ever go out of my way to really like go out and look for them.
Like, watch them season. Yeah.
The Simpsons, that's one that I just won't refuse to watch because I do know some of the storylines do follow other seasons. So I'm like, there's no point because I'm just not going to understand who these new people are or what they're doing. So I'm fearful that day will come for Rick and Morty, or do you guys still believe it's still relevant? Because even South Park, that's another one that I still watch some of the newer seasons, but those are also kind of a little bit like, I'm getting sort of tired of the boys, like they just don't make me laugh as much as they used to. The one that I still do watch, and I don't know, maybe that tells you something about me, but it's American Dad. That one I still continue to watch it. It's been maybe like almost 20 seasons, and I still freaking love like American Dad. It just continues to like cracked me up. Like the alien Roger, I think it's one of the
Roger.
greatest creations in animations, next to Bender, of course.
Yeah, Bender's pretty good too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me because, like I said, I just rewatching so much of it recently, and then just kind of going through the notions and living through this life of, again, started because I restarted it, but going through like freaking Rick's experience and Morty, when you meet Evil Morty too, because Evil Morty ties in a lot to the whole story, and Raul, you'll see too. Like once like I don't know, it's just that part of it being so meta. And finding out that like in this like universe where there's so many Rick and Mortys, that Mortys are essentially like tools and they're being reproduced to facilitate like Rick's lives, and just this crazy like grandiose like scheme that's going on, all for the survival of like Rick in this like this existence, this timeline that he has, like the golden curve or whatever he calls it. Like it's crazy to me, right? But then to answer that question, I'm like, I think in this 7th season where we saw like Rick Prime like basically be gone, and like Evil Morty's kind of like not as relevant in a weird way. To me, I was thinking that like, so what's next, right? Like the evolution from seeing even Summer be more involved in the adventures. I was like, well, now that we do even more adventures with Summer, but there was like already a couple seasons where we did a lot of Summer and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. Like it does. That's kind of I guess where I get nervous now that you hit the season that has like some definitely very significant episodes. And to me, I'm like, well, where do you go from now? Because what's the true purpose that we like before we didn't know? And as you find out, and then now he accomplished it, then you're like, so now what fucking like what do you do? Yeah. So it's like that's kind of what worries me, and that's where it could get redundant. Like like even they call themselves out when they're doing those like freaking galactic TV channel TV. Like they say eventually that this is just nonsense and they're just like cheap way out. I feel like eventually it could get to the point where even they call themselves out and they're like, well, we're not gonna keep doing this. So maybe I say like we need 1 or 2 more seasons before they maybe pull the plug. I don't know. Oh, man, I just don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want it to end because, like I said, I paid for seasons because I love it so much, and I don't do that with any of those other shows. But I know it scares me though. It scares me to see where it's at right now and be like, what's next?
Yeah, because sometimes you get something that's truly great, and it's like, why end it? Like something just real quick, like Bluey. I mentioned to you, like I think Bluey might be done. Bluey and Disney Plus might be done, and I don't understand why, because it's only like been 3 seasons. But even though like a season might be like 50 episodes, there's only be 3 seasons. So like, I'm like, why? Like Bluey can't end. Like it just cannot end. Like I refuse to believe that it's ending. So it's like, yeah, one of those things where like, if it's good, man, and the stories are good and the people are loving it, like why end it? So I just feel like with Rick and Morty, we have not reached its ultimate hype, because there could be, they talk about the possibility of maybe a movie one day. Like that would be awesome, to go and see a Rick and Morty movie and actually be funny and be able to laugh with people. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna depend on the writing, because so far the writing has been incredible. They've been so creative with every episode and like the storyline, and they still kind of have the small through line between all the episodes and between the seasons, but each episode is so different. It's so crazy, and you really have no idea what to expect just because it could go anywhere. So as long as that kind of sustains throughout the whole time, people are going to keep watching just because there's so much different that's kind of there that people are just going to keep watching just to kind of see what happens, and it's always going to feel new. But yeah, like with The Simpsons, like a huge part of my personality is based off The Simpsons. Like I grew up
absolutely.
On that.
The first couple seasons.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
El Bartolo.
Yeah. Like in high school. Yeah. My whole personality was The Simpsons. So yeah. So like I don't watch it now. I saw the Death Note Halloween special.
Oh, you did? Was it good?
It was interesting. It was fine.
Yeah, those Halloween specials were always
those are worth coming back and watching. But
yeah,
I don't know. I feel you like when you were saying earlier, it's like with The Simpsons, I feel like maybe not because we watched it for so many years, but I think after a while, like, yeah, you kind of don't continue it. And I don't know, maybe it's because like they don't change things as often. Like, I don't know. That's why Rick and Morty's crazy, because again, they with the whole thing with the science and pseudoscience and the stuff they do is just beyond limits of what they can do. And then I don't know, but it was kind of the same thing too with Family Guy. I kept up with it for a while. Right now, the
Yeah.
closest animation that I've been like do watch season per season per my wife is The Great North, which is a great one with freaking
That's
Alaska.
a Fox one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't
And
seen
then
it.
it's a vibe. It's different. It's something different, but
Like Bob's Burger was one that I kept coming in and out of it, and I just eventually just dropped it too. And then there was the movie, and I watched the movie, but really didn't like. I don't know. I guess I don't really the voice actor for Bob Burger, like him being also the voice actor for Archer, kind of makes like in Archer you play this like super funny, handsome guy that's always like boning chicks, and then you go to Bob's Burger, and I could just kind of combine the two. Yeah, in my head. Bro, quick question: Did you ever watch? Did you get to watch the episode where it's like fortune cookies? And
oh my goodness!
And what's his name? The dad, freaking.
I think that was like season 6, maybe, or like 5 or 6.
Well, there's an episode where Jerry gets a fortune cookie, and it's very specific fortune cookie. But the fortune cookie is like he's gonna bone his mom, like that's what it says. Like it's like, oh, you will like fuck your mom, and you're like,
Wow,
okay, well, like, well, it's like you don't even believe it. Like how could like no way, like his mom is like in another state. But as the episode like progresses, bro, it becomes a very possible thing that could happen. And it's one of the, again, so stupid. We talk about like them running out of ideas, but like, how do you run out of ideas when you have things like that? You have a planet full of snakes. You have like spaghetti people.
Oh my goodness!
Like it's just like I feel like they are hitting on all cylinders with some of these story plots. So it's just I don't know, man. I haven't lost hope, and I don't think I will lose hope.
I mean,
anytime soon.
There's definitely some episodes that make you like a little worried, but like because Raul, you said you finished season 3, so you're on the 4th one, or you haven't even started the 4th one.
No, I pretty much finished 4th. Like
okay.
The Death Crystal and the remote.
That's right.
We're all season 4.
So like in that season, I think the one with the dragons when they're like some kinky ass dragons. See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's some episodes that you're just like
they'll pair souls.
And then you're freaking, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's some ridiculous episodes. And I think that's why, Raul, for the longest, we were just like so on it. And like even when I tell Kiara that you're like, you weren't into Rick and Morty yet. And then just like, what, Raul? Like, I don't believe it. But I'm glad you're there. And I think you're going to be definitely in for a ride for the next few seasons. Cause like, I don't know. You'll definitely have to let us know when you're done so we can like reapproach it for like 10 minutes on an episode and be like,
And I mean, there's things that we watch and we'll text each other, like our group of, just us 3. And like, I'll text you guys like, oh, I just saw this, or something maybe that we're all watching. I'm like, oh my God, did you guys get to this part? But I think whenever like Rick and Morty comes out, man, and if the episode truly makes me laugh, I just immediately start texting like Ramon or my other friend. And I'm like, and
you have other friends?
I have other friends. And like, I don't even have to say like, hey, I'm watching this. I can just say like something like, Poke Pope, and they'll understand like what I'm talking about, and it's just like hilarious, and it's just there's very few things that I can relate to my friends with, and such as this show. That's like, and it's like, and they understand because like you just want to laugh thinking about how silly what what I'm watching is to them, because you guys also like were feeling the same way as you guys were watching it. But yeah, like. And that's one that I rewatched from like the Poke, Pope, and it was pretty funny.
It takes you for a ride, this show, for sure. I don't know. I mean, who haven't we talked about? Because like I do want to give love to like the characters in a sense, because like I think that's part of it, right? Like I know Summer, again, we kind of started mentioning her. I love that she becomes a big integral part of like the later seasons. But she was always
probably kind of annoying in the beginning, like
well, because like again rewatching the first season is like a crazy blast from the past, but then you remember how those characters were not that, like Jerry was always mean, like he was always, because he was always talking shit about like freaking Rick. And so like when the whole divorce thing came around, I was advocating for that divorce. I'm like, fuck Rick, like get Rick out of here. And then just through the whole Jerry, get Jerry out of here. And then through that whole thing, and then obviously making a return and everything, and then how it is now, it's like it's incredible, because then later
camping.
But that's what I'm saying, like I don't, and then Beth is another one too.
Especially now with the other Beth, there's 2 of them. Oh shit. Sorry,
well, Raul, you clearly know that there's a bunch of everyone. But another Beth does become significant, and it throws you for a loop because I think it's still an unanswered question, right, Carlos?
No,
Like
we're never gonna get it.
we don't know it's not certain yet, so there's no answer to that question. And you'll get it in like maybe 1 or 2 seasons more.
They're both
maybe
just both of them are as cool that it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like Jerry and Beth's relationship, that's also like a character, part of the show, because there are so many like parts or episodes relating to that. Like I think even the one where they do like couples therapy and like they create like creatures of whatever themselves, and like Beth is like a giant alien queen, and then Jerry's like
the worm.
Yeah, and then Jerry's like, I don't know what
Jerry's a worm.
It's like a ditto, right? Yeah.
He's just like a little earthworm, and then he's just kind of like, "Is this what you see me as?" And then he just cowards. And then every time that Jerry's talking to Earthworm Jerry, he's turning around and giving his butt. It's like, "No, stop!" And then he just keeps doing it. And he's like, "Is that what Beth sees me as? Like some subservient, like little nothing?" And yeah, that's another really shocking like episode.
And then when he's rescuing her, all of a sudden the Jerry start coming out like all buff and heroic.
Yes. Yeah. Well, even her explanation as to why, like when the xenomorph Beth is telling the real Beth, she's like, "You're so stupid to not appreciate Jerry's like undevoted power or whatever." That his power of devoteness, because like he's so devoted that in the way that he thinks of her, it is just like superior to any being. So therefore, she's super strong. Doesn't need anyone else. Obviously, she's like thinks she's a hot shit, and it's just that whole dynamic, man. And it's
also
like
scary.
And very scary. Like I don't know. I mean, obviously, prefacing this, I'm only saying this a joke, but I wonder what kind of monsters we would be. Like I don't know. I would probably get bitch slapped like across the room. Like just kidding.
Wait. It depends. Would we have like a helmet for each other, or who would be creating our things?
I was just talking about it be like between us, because I'm not involving my wife in this, because then I'm definitely dead. See Jerry number 2. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Ro, did you ever see the backstory on Beth almost being just like not exactly like Rick, but what, like they do kind of put this idea of Beth being a little bit kind of like, yeah, she is scary. She is smart. She will hurt people. It's a young child, so okay, that's an episode later in the future. Yeah, it's just so you find out Beth is more similar to Rick than you think. So it's kind of funny.
Because I saw the one where Rick was not gonna create the portal thing, and then another Rick came and like just fucked up his world, and then and then after that he created that's where he created the portal.
Yeah.
When that sauce, it was a real sauce, the McDonald's sauce.
Szechuan.
And then when he came back, like, dude, it ran out. Like, to this day, I don't know if I'll ever taste it.
I mean, I'm sure they'll do it again. Like, I don't know. That's such
people
a great
go crazy
gimmick
for it, and it just disappears. That's the problem.
I mean, we just got to camp out. I guess it's a new thing. I mean, then we'll take it to Chris Parnell next. We'll take it to Chris Parnell in EC2E2 and be like, "Can you sign my Szechuan sauce?" Even though he wasn't one eating it, but it was.
The one thing I didn't like, but I guess I appreciate, is that they no longer do like where you can get in online, Ro, and ask them a question. You have to do your questions electronically, and I guess it probably makes the panel a lot more smooth, because then you know what questions you're gonna ask. But
they can sort them.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. So,
what was the question for Jerry? Or wait, who was your question for?
Well, me and you kind of had the same thing about.
Oh, that's right.
Fallout. Yeah, we wanted to see if Rick and Morty would incorporate any like Fallout elements in an episode.
My question was.
Did the answer?
No, we didn't get ours. We did it at the second batch of questions, so we did it so late. Mine was like, if Jerry was in the Fallout universe, how long would he survive in the wasteland? But I figured they wouldn't answer a question like kind of promoting something else. But I don't know. Like Chris, like freaking Jerry was so funny that he probably would have.
I wanted them to promote themselves because, in the Star Wars one, they got to promote themselves, like what they're working on. Like we found out that the actor that does Admiral, oh my God, what's the Blue Admiral's name in Star Wars?
Thrawn.
Yeah, like, the actor that actually like voices the character and came to the live action Ahsoka, like he was Zero. And then he got to say he was working on Frankenstein with Guillermo del Toro. So I was like, everybody was like, ooh. So yeah, like I kind of wish in the Rick and Morty panel, they would have been able to, they would have talked about what projects
Guillermo del Toro could probably do the Universal Monsters better than anyone.
Well, after
Yeah.
that one movie, I feel like I'm kind of done with Frankenstein, man. Like I'm like with the one we reviewed, with oh my
Poor
god,
things.
yeah, Poor Things. I'm like, I
Oh,
don't know
really?
if I don't know if I need another like Frankenstein storyline
I
where
mean,
like
that
that one.
was.
But we really haven't seen like an actual Frankenstein in years,
No, there's been so many.
decades.
There's the one with Daniel Radcliffe
No, but like
and
real ones, because like they're all like parodies or like, but there's no like real depiction of Frankenstein like based off the book.
yeah, I guess
I
so.
think the closest has been like Penny Dreadful.
For
But
I was
nobody
gonna
saw
say
that.
Penny Dreadful. You saw Penny
Yes,
Dreadful, dude?
yes. I
Penny
didn't finish it, but
Dreadful.
I saw a big chunk.
I sorry, I never finished
Oh,
it.
sorry. Penny Dreadful was so freaking cool, man. Like,
Dude, that Frankenstein monster is
dude, and Ava Green, like, I love her, but because like she does a lot of nudity in her movies. Like, if you watch the 300 sequel, but in Penny Dreadful, Ramon, she's like constantly naked. Like, I
it's a
almost felt like,
Showtime show,
dude,
I think. Or it
yeah, it's
was
a
a Showtime show.
Showtime, yeah, and I kind of almost felt bad for her. I was like, man, she does not have to be this much naked. Like, come on, put it in her contract. But I guess she's just maybe up for it.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
Her
great show.
suggestion, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about Ava Green now.
I know.
She's great, man. Like she's like Casino Royale any day, man.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
watch that. Yeah.
You mentioned that 300 movie, and then I was like, up, went there. But anyway,
Back to
Well,
Zack Snyder.
yeah. I mean, let's finish it up, man. I mean, you mentioned talking about other characters, and I'm trying to think if there's any other like Hawkman, Birdman. Birdman's a good one, and Ro, you
Dude,
kind of
that was so sad.
yeah, that was sad.
Well, I was gonna mention personality of Rick, but his freaking what is it called? Rick Morai when he's the samurai with the crows.
Oh,
why am I forgetting the name right now? But like that whole little bit anime where because Raul, like you should have gotten by that. Maybe that's the next season. But anyways, there's a whole thing where he runs away with two crows and leaves Morty behind after this like big like fight that they have, and then ultimately he's like in an anime with two crows and they fight like the crow's enemies, and then basically the crows leave him for the scarecrow or the crow scare. Yeah, but that whole, and then that's also another like crazy episode because that obviously dad always goes into something else because I believe Morty like does like an aging serum to look like he's 40 to go convince him to come out, but then he gets stumped. Anyways, I don't know but that was a great character though because he's being anime and he's fighting stuff and doing.
And he
cool,
looks great. He's like has a black metal like robot horse and. He just looks great, and then with the two crows, yeah.
I think more animated shows, especially like American animated shows, need to do anime episodes.
Well, because you guys know that they're doing a Rick and Morty anime show, right? Spinoff, right?
Well, I have a manga like little book, but I don't know about a show.
Heard of such a thing.
Yeah, they're doing like a spinoff of it, and there's actually like I don't know in what how it came out, but there's actually like a 10-15 minute like they already did a Rick and Morty like animate something. It's out there. I'll send it to you guys. You guys don't recall? I think they dropped it on YouTube. So you guys want to get an idea of like what we might get with the anime show. But yeah, I think that's been announced and it's happening. And I'll look it up right now as we're talking.
I know DC's doing the Suicide Squad Isekai.
Yeah, that's one that
I'm looking forward to. That.
I don't know. Like, I know this wouldn't be something that I would ever want, like, anywhere near live action and stuff like that. But I do want a movie, like a animated movie, just something long and hearty, and like maybe like But I don't even know what adventure it would be or what it would be doing. But like just knowing that there's so much like untapped potential, just places he could have been, things that could have happened, and I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would want to see in a movie. I just think the whole idea of sitting there for like an hour and a half at least would be really exciting.
With one story,
One story, yeah.
So the anime, I guess, is gonna be 10 episodes, and it's coming out in 2024. So I don't know if that's like fall, winter. And I guess my question for it's like, I wonder if it's gonna be like more Japanese based, like grabbing all the tropes from like the animes that we love, because that'd be kind of cool, like One Punch Man or whatever. But
I'd be down for that.
That'd be a ride. That'd be like a nice little side story to it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like now I get the sense that you have become a fan, Ro. Like nothing tells me
I
that. Yeah,
am.
you're not
I
gonna.
mean,
am.
have you? Have you? Okay, cool,
I
good.
Yeah.
am.
Then we can shut
Yeah,
up
dude.
and stop telling you to keep watching Rick and
Yeah.
or
Now
yeah.
our episodes won't be awkward when we bring up this like specific things, and you're like no idea what we're talking about.
Well, dude, my sister's almost caught up to me in One Piece because of Rick and Morty.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
like, nah, can't let that happen. Let me go back.
Well, I know, like because now, like I really only watch One Piece during lunch whenever I take a lunch. So I
Oh,
watch
yeah.
like 2 episodes.
I cut up to like because like One Piece, I've said it, like I will only watch it in dub, so like I've cut up to the dub, so then I just like I'll wait like a month or two to start watching another 4 or 5 episodes before
Well,
I go.
I'm still Wano. He's still fighting Kaido.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I left off in a great, probably the best episode it's been since this whole Wano arc started, where it's like
Oh, you're still in Wano?
yeah, I'm still in Wano, where it's freaking Zoro fighting King, which is the pterodactyl.
Oh,
And there it's about to go down. Like it's like in this next episode, but it was subtitles, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I have to wait like another, 4 weeks, and then I'll watch it. But yeah, like I refuse to watch One Piece subtitles. Like I just can't do it.
dude, yeah. There's a few animes that just started that haven't been dubbed yet that I like paused on. Like that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Kaiju number 8
I paused.
is dub, right? It
Dude,
comes
yeah.
out dub.
So yeah,
Oh,
the day it's released in dub and subbed.
Yeah, okay, because I'm like, I swear I've been watching that and it's been in English.
Yeah. Kaiju
Oh,
number
great.
8 is really the first one to bring up both at the same time, to release
Makes
both
it-
at the same time.
Makes it so easy. So easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we
yeah,
got a lot.
because it shows how popular anime has gotten here.
Yeah, I mean, I released our schedule for May, and we haven't really figured out June, but I can tell you in June, like every show's dropping. The Dragon one, House of the Dragons,
Ooh.
Bear
Demon
season
Slayer.
Bear
Bear.
season 3. So it's like
Bear.
a lot of things are gonna be wrapping up around the same time. So I don't know if that's gonna be like August, or potentially, we're gonna be
Plus
busy.
movies too.
Yeah, plus movies. I mean, Furiosa is one that I really want to see.
Yeah.
And we got the Deadpool
Yeah, I wanna see it
movie.
Oh my
Oh yeah,
god,
the Deadpool
yes.
movie.
Man, we should do something with that one where we go see it and immediately just record on it, because
Yeah, let's do it.
we're gonna be so hyped on it.
From our cars. Let's do it.
Oh god,
Do
yeah.
it.
Let's go.
But anything else you guys want to talk about, or you guys feel like we've said our piece with Rick and Morty?
I think we will probably
for
touch
now.
back on Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was just a teaser because, Raul hasn't finished it. So it's like a lot of things that great. When he does finish it, like we'll have to readdress some of the crazy, sad
have to-
stories and stuff.
Like, I hope when the new season comes out and we watch it all, we can just talk about that season. Like, hey, what we enjoyed about it.
Yeah,
where did it go? But yeah, that would be great, man.
that would be fun. That's one that for sure. I think it falls in line with everything else we talk about as being a really good show.
All right, well, great, man. I'm glad to be back. Glad to see you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys next week where we talk about X-Men '97. It's finally wrapping up, with its final episode next Wednesday, and that shit's been on fire, man. X-Men '97 has been on fire this whole time. But all right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Good night.
Bye.
By a bus.